Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, February 9th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $15 Bank Shop best bet, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's go. Here are the games for Thursday in college basketball. First up, we go to the Pac-12 as USC takes on Oregon. This one, a late night start time. It's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Oregon's coming off the nice win over Arizona State, and this is an Oregon team which looked a lot more competitive in conference play than they did at the beginning of the season in non-conference play. We saw the Ducks start the year 2-4. They lost to some tough teams like Houston, UConn, Michigan State. Also lost to UC Irvine in a little bit of a semi-upset loss, but now in Pac-12 play, the Ducks are 8-5 with a winning record. They've had some nice wins on the resume, including wins over Utah, Arizona, like I mentioned, Arizona State, and I think Oregon wins another big game in this one over USC, a team I think is a little bit overrated. USC right now ranked 44th in KenPom. They're on a 4-game win streak, and they have some nice wins on their resume as well. But I do think Oregon is the better team. I think Oregon has a huge advantage on the glass in this one. Oregon's 69th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. USC 334th in defensive rebounding. That really concerns me in this one. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks. I'm going to lay the points at home. Next up, we go to the Summit League as Oral Roberts takes on St. Thomas. This one's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern. Oral Roberts is 12-0, perfect record right now in Summit League play. 12-0 in the conference and 21-4 overall. Their 4 losses, St. Mary's, Houston, Utah State, and New Mexico, all 4 teams in the top 50 in KenPom ratings, and all 4 of those games were true road games. So Oral Roberts is winning the games they're supposed to win and then some, and they're losing very reasonable games against really tough teams. Oral Roberts 20th in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're scoring points left and right in conference play against some really weak Summit League defenses, and they should be able to score 80, 90 points in this game against a really weak St. Thomas defense. But on the other side, St. Thomas is also a pretty solid offense. They're 100th in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're 91st in effective field goal percentage, a pretty good three-point shooting team, and they take a lot of three-pointers. They get to the free throw line, and they're 8th in the country in free throw shooting percentage, and they take care of the basketball, 24th in the nation in turnover percentage on offense. So yes, St. Thomas's defense is going to struggle probably in this game and going forward, but I think their offense can actually compete in this one and keep this game reasonable. I think if there was a team in this conference, a pretty weak Summit League conference this year, if there was a team though that can compete with Oral Roberts, it would be St. Thomas, the Tommies, especially when they're playing on their home court. The first matchup between these two teams wasn't too, it was a pretty reasonable game, 81-69 the final score. Pretty close game in the second half at times, and I do think St. Thomas competes in this one behind the home crowd, a passionate fan base, a new team in Division I college hoops, only playing its last season in Division I. So I'm going to take St. Thomas in the points here. I think Oral Roberts wins it, but I think St. Thomas does enough offensively to keep this game close and to cover the number. Next up, we go to Gonzaga and San Francisco in the West Coast Conference. This one, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. San Francisco has struggled in this series when they're playing on the road. And I mean, what team hasn't struggled at Gonzaga in the last decade or so? But San Francisco usually loses this matchup by double digits. And, I don't really trust their defense traveling well in this spot. We've seen San Francisco, struggle against some of the tougher teams in this conference. They lost to St. Mary's twice in the season series already. They lost to Santa Clara twice as well. And their most recent game was a 13-point loss to Santa Clara. And that was a home game for San Francisco. So, Gonzaga, although they're not as dominant this season as they were in the regular season last year, they're still 19-5 overall, 8-2 in conference play. They're scoring plenty of points. They're 7th in the nation in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're 2nd in the country in effective field goal percentage. A great rebounding team and a team that takes care of the basketball as well. I think Gonzaga has a lot of statistical advantages in this one. I think we're also getting Gonzaga at a great price because of their most recent loss to St. Mary's. A heartbreaking loss, in overtime. Gonzaga was winning that game for quite a while. They lost the lead at the end and they lose the game in overtime. But still, I think Gonzaga is the better team. I don't love the current form that San Francisco's in. I don't trust them on the road, and they haven't been very good on the road in this series. So with all that being said, give me Gonzaga laying the points. Next up, we go to the Big South as Gardner Webb takes on Radford. This one's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be on ESPNU. And I'm glad to see this game on TV because I think this could be a conference tournament final preview, as I think these are the top 2 teams in the conference right now. I think Gardner Webb is severely underrated, even though they're on a 5-game win streak. I still think they're underrated because this is a team at 63rd in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. They force a ton of turnovers. They're great on the defensive glass, and their offensive numbers have gotten a lot better as of late. They're scoring some points when they need to. The team is still still likes to slow things down on both ends of the court, so they're not going to score a ton of points per game, but they've been a lot more efficient as of late. Their shot quality data is pretty good on offense, and Radford, a good defensive team themselves. They forced some turnovers, pretty good rebounding team, but I think there's going to be a very low-scoring, slow-paced game where points come at a premium. We saw it in the first match between these two, 63-59, the final score. Wouldn't be surprised to see a similar result in this one, but I think Gardner Webb has a shot to win this game outright, so I'm going to take the points here with Gardner Webb. I think they at least cover the number, if not win the game. Next up, our final game for Thursday's card in college basketball. It's going to be in the Atlantic Sun Conference as Liberty takes on Bellarmine. This one's 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. I looked past Liberty's last game against Lipscomb, where they did lose that game by 5 points, but it was on the road against arguably the second best team in this conference, and Lipscomb had a great shooting performance, and it's a good Lipscomb team. They shot 45.8% from three. They shot 92.3% from the free throw line. It's tough to beat a team on the road in conference play when they have that good of a shooting performance, but overall, Liberty was still in good form going into that game. They had won 7 straight games in the conference. All of those 7 wins were by double digits, and they beat this Bellarmine team already once this year by double digits, 17-point win, 70-53, and it was a game where Liberty took the lead early. They had a nice halftime lead by double digits, and they really didn't look back in that one. Had a good shooting performance, good defensive game plan as well, held Bellarmine to only 3 offensive rebounds, forced 13 turnovers, so Liberty lost one game, one of the most important games for Liberty last year in the conference tournament to Bellarmine, and that was the only loss that Liberty's had against the Knights and since they joined Division I college hoops. I don't really like this matchup for Bellarmine on the road. I do think that this team's going to struggle on both ends of the court, and they're coming off a win, so it's a good time to fade them, in my opinion. Give me Liberty laying the points. I think they win this game by 20+. And that's it. Those are the games in college hoops for Thursday's card. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.